and
I don't believe
making
this.
a jackass out of myself in front of people
Just
that
to
I
say
had to
it's
see
it's
the next day.
9:38 on
And I was making
11/11 of the
excuses
9.
almost right
That's
out of
the
the
time
gate,
I decided to go live.
right?
Oh
And
my god.
that continued
It's
through,
just too much.
you know,
It's not too much, but it's too much. It's just
uh,
too much.
basically the
It's
alcohol,
not too
unlike a
much,
normal
but it's too
person,
much. You know, not too much, but it's too much. You know, I think I'm gonna keep it with show most messages with potential spam removed because I don't really feel like dealing with all the other BS that people want to say and stuff right now or today. I don't want to deal with it. Don't want to deal with the BS, peoples. We already know what it's about. You know, hopefully, hopefully some people will roll in. You know, it'd be nice if some people are rolling right now because you're not promised fucking anything. You know, you ain't promised anything in this crazy motherfucking place. You know, it's so funny. I can see why sometimes people do get married or people do get in relationships because at least you have somebody else to fucking talk to or somebody else to kick it with or deal with the bull crap. But at the same time, even you do freaking get into a relationship or something like that, that could be your imprisonment. You can be in prison. And you know what? You constantly have to think about that. You gotta think about that not everybody is having a great life. Like people out here committing suicides. You know, people even in relationships committing suicides together. People running amok out there. Hey, what's up? Yo, I love that comic strip. Did you freaking? Is that the same Hobbs? I'm not. I'm not thinking about that. I'm just saying that people are like the atrocities that's in the world or people going through tough times who I can't say anything about anything. If I'm having a tough time, look at the people that are having a tough time. I just turned on a Straight Jacket podcast, and this guy is just addicted to crack cocaine and freaking crap stuff. I'm like, whatever people are going through, it's like nothing compared to what other people are going through out there. You know. Yo, what up, everybody? Farmers, what up, Calvin and Hobies? How do you say that, Hobbs? Or because this is like the comic strip Calvin and Hobbs. I used to read that. I used to love that comic strip. I missed the freaking paper with that in there. Eh, have you ever read Romans 5:15? No. You know what? I've never really read the Bible. Myself. I mean, I read parts of it, but I've never really really did the Bible. But here's my book bag, and look what's in my freaking book bag. Jesus Calling. This book says it has different each day has a different passage, and right behind me, I do have the MacArthur Bible right here. Hey, let's go ahead and read. Let's see, Romans 5:1. As you can see, I don't know I grew up in Christian schools. I had to go to Christian private schools growing up. I'm from freaking hardcore um, religious parents and whatnot. And but at the same time, I think to a certain degree, you have to look at it differently. But I'm a syncretist, to that, however that is for people. So think of what you said before, all about the suffering we go through in life. Yeah, man, or I'm inferring that this is a dude because you sound like a dude. Let's see what it says. Where is Romans? Is that the New Testament? Is it after Acts? Romans. Let's see. And it's 5:15. It's right after Acts. That's crazy. It's Romans 5:1 through 5:11. Paul completed his case that God justifies sinners on the basis of faith. I'm reading the whatchamacallit part the. It says here, therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Through him we have also obtained access by faith into this grace in which we stand, and we rejoice in hope of the glory of God. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings. Yeah, huh? Knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. For while we were still weak at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly. For one will scarcely die for the righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. I hear that, you know? Wow, that's crazy that you come in and say that. Sure, the MacArthur part. Yeah, huh? Yo, what up, Deshaun? Yeah, man. Amen. Thank you very much. You see, I have it right here. And like, listen, like, in this particular situation, I have a parent that every day is on the pastor. Like, and I grew up in so many churches, in so many schools, church school and church every day. But you know why this is going on? Not getting any real, whatever. It is what it is. You know, trust me, I'm not complaining. That's what I'm talking about. Like, people are going through a lot of suffering, so I can't really just a coincidence. There are no such things as coincidences. Like I put on live and it was at 9:38, 9/11 on 11/11, and today is the day. And trust me, like I've been through it. I've done it. Like I've been in the work. I've done it. That's why I'm just like, you know what? And you just come across so many different things in this world, and it's just like, really? And it's like, when is it like F? I don't even have anything to complain about. Like, what can you complain about? You can't. You just got to do the work every day. But still, it's like, man, really? You just see people and the way people treat other people, and it's like, wow, you're going to really be like that when you can actually be happy? You can choose to be happy every day. You can choose to get up and do what you can do, but people rather manipulate other people. People rather just be serving them. Who would have known that this world is what it is? And yeah, despite you just do, people do crazy things. I've done crazy things. But it's like, it's really all about intention. Do you intend to do malicious things? Or you're not intending to do anything. But I guess that's what's in your heart, So it's like, man, you know what? It's like, but at the same time, with all the, I but I follow Santos Bonacci and syncretism, and it's all like, to me, it's all an analogy. Everything is in here. Everything is inside your body. But so many people take everything as literal, and it's like, well, if there was a guy named Jesus too, it's like, okay, well, look at the Muslims. They go after things that are outside there too. It's like, okay, you think Muslims are better than Christianity? No, we all looking for answers. We're all trying to purify ourselves. But sometimes people, even though people say they follow this or follow that, you don't act like it. God says your vessel should be clean. You don't got a clean vessel. You ain't cleaning it. You're not getting up and doing the work. But everybody wants to look like they are. Wait, bro. John 14. I used to study that stuff. You can choose to lay your sin down at the foot of the cross. Hey, I hear that. You know, I do that all the time. I try not to commit any sins. In the sins that I committed in the past, if you know, that's the thing. I don't think I intentionally committed any sins. I may sold some weed, everyone. No, no, I wasn't. But at the same time, it's like we've all done something or sweared or even like some worse stuff, you know. But we don't do things. I don't do those things, and it's like you still get tested, you know, or we live in a system in which people are hell bent on they're trying to get you caught up in stuff. They're trying to manipulate things. People go all up on you and be like doing this and doing that, you know. Hey, let's check it out. John 14:16, huh? Let's see what it is. Like, the first school I went to was like, I started off at a Christian school, and one of the things that we were supposed to do is memorize the books of the Bible. I couldn't even do it. I remember back then I was like, I couldn't even do it. I think I was like, what, 5, 6 years old. They were like, you got to remember the books of the Bible, like straight up indoctrinations. But still, it is what it is. Sorry if anybody like bouncing out when I'm reading the Bible, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Oh yeah, huh? You came to Christ later. I hear that, man. Lucky for you, because when you're in it early, it's kind of like crap. They just push stuff, and it's like, man, like no offense to the people out there, but yeah, like you just see, like, if we really lived in a world that people really followed the book, it's like we wouldn't see the things that we're seeing, But hey, Jesus went through the stuff that he went through. It's like, okay, it is what it is. John 14:6. I write to you, fathers, because you know him who is from the beginning. I write to you, young men, because you are strong and the word of God abides in you and you have overcome the evil one. I hear that. You got to freaking overcome all the craziness, despite where it's coming from. And I think that's what we're supposed to be here for. Overcoming temptations, overcoming the lack that other people may be showing you, and try to lift them up at the same time. But at the same time, man, it's like kind of like, if you claim to do this and claim to do that, but you still don't show up, you're intentfully not doing the work. Like if people point something out, well, I mean, it's one thing going into something and not knowing, but then it's another thing of going into something and people telling you, yo, do, and you still gonna do it? Or somebody's asking you to do something, like, you're not gonna do it? Like, you say you're not gonna do it? It's like, well, you're not gonna do it? So, and that's why we have facades. But it's like, you can't get mad at it. Don't get mad. Because then we have these other things that say, like, they're gonna be feeding off that energy, Yeah, huh? Yeah, I hear that. There was no, like, the church is outside of nature, being outside, but people stay in these locked things on the boob tube. And it's like, man, or, preachers with golden mics and golden thrones. It's like, really? That's not what it's supposed to be, Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're not going to learn anything by watching something. You have to live it. It's funny, like, I was listening to this one particular podcast, and this one guy has a website about, people that have experienced certain paranormal things. And the name was Opus. And it was, and I was like, oh, it reminds me of freaking Opus Dei. I was like, oh, you named the thing Opus? And it stands for the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support. I'm like, well, you can take Opus Dei and make another acronym for it. That's what people do that all the time. Remember, Opus Dei was in the Da Vinci Code. And I was like, Opus. And then I decided to go into Opus Dei. And it's like, and read up on that. And man, like, I'm like, okay, you know what? I just may freaking just get up in that, because, man, it's, Yeah, I hear that. Being grateful, but grateful for what at the same time? I mean, that's the thing. When people say, "Oh, you died for our sins." Well, that doesn't mean for you to keep on committing sin. Cleanse thy vessel. Get up and do the work. I mean, I swear, if you freaking get up in the morning, or whenever you wake up your eyes from being in that realm of sleep, you're blessed. Do the freaking work. People don't do it. They still sit back and they still do the thing. I'm like, man, you woke up. You didn't wake yourself up. Something else woke you up. We're supposed to be doing something. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, this is my plight. This is my servitude for as far as my karma, as far as me not having another timeline or something. I didn't get hit by that bus. I didn't freaking, when I got in that accident, I didn't freaking maim myself. For some odd reason, and we're all protected in a certain way. The guy I'm looking at straight jacket thing, whatever this particular show is, I'm like, bruh, you ain't dead, and because anybody can come take you out at any time if they really wanted to, anytime. I hear that, yeah. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, well, if something does exist, well, it's because God wanted it to be like that, the plights, and that's the thing. But we have autonomy. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's your destiny. Well, is destiny already pre-written? Then what is your autonomy? Well, whatever your autonomy you think you have is still going to be your destiny. Or God gave you autonomy to make your destiny. Well, God already knows what your destiny is going to be. You're going to have to go through the suffering to make it. Even though your destiny may be cut short, or whatever you get cut short, hey, that is your destiny. That's what it is. Hey, you're going to get that dis-ease, or you're going to have that, you're going to get stabbed all up, or whatever it is. It's like, all right, that's your destiny. So even though I've been through this and been through that and walked through that and didn't get caught up with that, it's kind of like, well, it's because, you have a different destiny. So you better be grateful for that, So, and like, man, are you kidding me? Like, I'm the most appreciative because I know I walk a fine line. And it's like, man, like, just being of servitude and being of service. That's why at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be of service, but at the same time, when people project themselves to be this or that, I'm like, oh, okay. But at the same time, it's like, shh, just shut up, just shut up, because people are just going to be the way they are. And everybody wants to be looked at like this or looked at like that, when really, whatever. And it's like, what are you going to do? Just get up. Hey, if you wake up, hey, don't worry, everybody's going to go. So the people that are doing whatever they're doing, and people know what they're doing, in my world, you know what you're doing. You think I'm this, you think I'm that. We got the monitoring spirits, you got the people following people, we got the things going on, we got things, I'm not even going to say too much, but at the same time, it's like, intentions are right there. And it's like, you know what, some people, it goes to show you that some people in this world are really on that low realm, and they think everybody's all like that, or nobody can. It seems like nobody's really exuding really what it is to be like truthful and faithful. Even in the church, you get the people that's doing some crazy stuff, and it's getting swept underneath the rug. So who's really, like, if you really get to know, it's like seeing the Antichrist, or the Antichrist is coming, or the person that comes like, oh, that's the Antichrist. Oh, you gonna believe that it's the Antichrist? Or seeing a UFO? Do you know what it's like to really see a UFO? And I'm not talking about the drones over Jersey. I'm like, okay, if it look like that, they ain't no UFOs. When you really see it, when you really see some stuff, when you really go into meditation and you really do it, who's done that? We have free will. How do you know you have free will if that's not your destiny? If God already knows what you're going to do, right? That's not free will. You think you have free will, but God already knows you're going to do it. You don't got free will. You think you have free will because you don't have the foresight that God has. God already knows what you're going to say. God already knows this was going to happen. That's not free will. It's only free will because you have the lack of understanding and a lack of mindset to see foresight. You don't have any hindsight. You don't have foresight. You don't have that unless you really start doing the work. You know, people have the gifts to see or to feel. You know, it's like walking in a room and you feeling energies. That's different. Like if you can feel something, that's a higher clairvoyance that other people, the normal people don't have. You know? I don't need Jesus because Jesus already exists within inside me. Already, like, you know, I don't need that. God, Jesus has already done what Jesus needed to do. You know, I don't need to chase after that. You know, it's already there. But I bless you for even saying that. You know, and if you can even see in my eyes, I doubt that you really can because you wouldn't even say that if you really could. You know, but I bless you for that, and I thank you for even commenting or even being here. You know, it really means a lot. But man, like, you know, actually, like, I haven't blazed in a while. I've been sober. I don't drink. You know, I'm vegetarian. I've fasted for the most of the day. I've only eaten living foods and some coffee. I do the work all the time. And that's just some more about me. So, but I bless you. Not me, but God blesses you for even showing up in my freaking live feed. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. You know, I just want to come on and freaking just say what's up to people and whatever. It is what it is. And sometimes we do have a drop in our freaking devotion or our belief or our, you know, trust. I should say our trust in the fact that, hey, listen, you are exactly where you need to be and you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Even if I decide to freaking cut this off now and be like, hey, you know, that's it. Hey, God knew I was going to be like, hey, that's it. You know, I can be doing a lot of things right now. But that's the thing. You know, we all have walked a certain path. But you know what? Thank you very much, Calvin and Hobbes. You know, you even brought back memories of that cartoon, and I really appreciate that. You know, but you know, at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that life is quite something. Life is showing us so much. Yo, LA Barbs, what up? You know, are you from LA? I lived out there for a while. Say, tell me if you are living in LA. I'm gonna give a shout out to my guy 2 a.m. Tacos also. We had a long night there a few nights ago, and he actually got me to really dedicate on trying to make a homemade pizza. I actually got some freaking yeast, and I may actually go late night live later on and make that pizza. You know. No? How'd you come up with that name, LA Barbs? You know? Uno, dos, tres. Cause I lived in LA for a long time. But, yeah. You know, that's the thing. What's going on? What's going on with you? What's going on with you tonight? You know? That's your name? Regular? Word. Yep. Yeah. Ridiculousness. I just decided just to, you know, I guess I just needed a vent because, you know, sometimes nobody has people to vent to. Nobody has anybody to listen to. You know, in like 2018, I think it was like 2018, I came up with the hashtag nobody cares. And after I came up with the hashtag, because I was going through a lot of stuff in 2018 and I was seeing a lot of stuff. After trying, I was paying a lot of, like, I was paying to work. And it was just like, you know, nothing was adding up and people were just on my case about stuff. Like I was carrying a lot of people, carrying a lot of things. And it's like, I just came to a realization of like, damn, nobody cares about anybody, and we see it today. Nobody cares. I came with the hashtag. I just started saying hashtag nobody cares, but I kept on caring, you know. And then 2020 happened, you know, going into meditations and stuff, and it's like, man, and that's why I can't even say I can. You know, it's weird when you go through so many different experiences. You're gonna be having experiencing like having what it's like to be on drugs, experiences of giving it up, experiences of drinking and not wanting to drink anymore, experience of going out to clubs and stuff like that and then realizing you don't want to do that anymore, experiences of freaking, you know, going into paranormal stuff. And trust me, in LA, man, there's everything out there. Just deciding to like, listen, well, no, I don't want to hook up with anybody because you get plagued with stuff. People just try to freaking do stuff to you. People steal stuff from you. People, your best friends betray you. Your best friends try to set you up. It's like, wow. And then even your closest kin is like, wow, you can't even be there for people. But then I think like, damn, you know what? Toni Braxton couldn't even stay with her husband. And they be suing each other for millions of dollars. I'm like, wow, you already got millions of dollars. Why you need to take more millions? It's like she can't even find a fucking good husband. Oops, she can't even find a husband. People can't even stay together. And people that are together, they don't even respect each other. Like, you can't even find a good relationship. You know? People use each other to bring kids into the world that they don't even love. And it's like, how are you going to find somebody that's just going to respect and love and be there for you? But then people just want to do what they do until they just get taken out of this world and it doesn't even matter. But you don't know what's waiting for you in the afterlife. That's why I'm just like, it's not that I live a certain way because of the afterlife. I don't even think about that. I live a certain way because something tells me like, get up and do it. You know what? You know, I always think of, and I don't always think about it, but what I just referenced not too long ago was the Hancock movie and what's really going on. Then is the Matrix movie. Let me see if I can even pull it up. It's like it's what we're facing, you know? It's what we're facing right now. It's what we're facing right now. You know, let's see if that part. Hopefully, you know, I don't think I'm gonna be able to play everything on here. It's that one particular part he's getting riddled. Yeah.
Happy place. You can thank me if you want to.
See that? Hopefully, I'm gonna. Let's see. Yeah. Who's on there? Yeah.
Upon us all, Hancock.
See that?
You're no different.
See, he keeps on going. Boom.
Time to shut her down, Hancock.
Time to shut her down, Hancock. See? Boom. And hopefully I don't get a copyright thing on me.
Oh, we are all sincerely gonna miss you.
See all that? It's ridiculous. You know? I just that part is just like, man, you know what? It's like, man, you have to keep on driving. You got to keep on going, no matter what, you know? So I just really want to come on here, you guys, and just say what's up. Hopefully everybody's doing well on this 11/11 border, you guys. And it is what it is. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I bless you guys for everybody coming in, you know? Yeah.